Piccinelli. The penalties are all square. Morrissey. 7 minutes gone in the second quarter. Tietzel was used as a decoy for Fritz. Simon for Smith. Taken by New. Last tackle. Morrissey puts up a bomb. Alshin's there. Alshin was taken out of it, I thought. Unfairly, that jump on Alshin early. Mackay runs from dummy half.
Lotto replay doesn't lie. Look at that. He never got his hand on the ball, and you can't touch him until the ball's in his hand.
Beattie looked for Walford. Now he finds Alshin inside as the Saints try to break away. New. Again he kicks. Getting the roll out to the sideline. It will beat McIndoe. So under pressure, St George send it way down the other end.
There's a lot of kicking in this game, and it's getting the result. The field just falls away slightly on both sides, which means once you get the run on, the ball won't stop.
As we all know, Tamworth, the hosts of the annual Country Music Festival, and there is a country music charity concert being put on at the Sydney Opera House on the 21st of July this year. The proceeds to go to the Arthritis Foundation of Australia. And those tickets are available, so just contact the Opera House. They are only $20 each. For any Sydney fans who can't make it to Tamworth, you will get your share back in your own city. Another penalty. This is criminal, this one.
Can't keep giving them away, but more particularly when you've got the ball. That's a cardinal sin.
He was trying to impress the referee, McIndoe, that he wanted to play it quickly. But Armin said it wasn't quite right. It's Jason Alshin.
You can't take a side step to the side to make your point.
Alshin is trying to cool himself down.
He's just the player that St George have been looking for over the last couple of seasons. They needed an organising type halfback, someone who was a playmaker that could point them in the right direction. I think they've got the coach who can do that, and he's the man that can carry out instructions. I know that you and Wayne Pearce like him as a fullback, but I think he can do the job at halfback as well.
Yeah, I'm not quite convinced that he is the playmaking halfback that they seek, Bill.
He'd better be.
For Brian Smith's sake. Walford. Walford adds another goal with 10 minutes gone here in the second quarter. And the Saints creep closer. Ilawarra 6, St George 4. Ilawarra by 2 over St George. Potter tries to trap it. Taken by Tietzel. Goulet. Collins taken quickly, so we've had 3 tackles gone. And the overall possession is all even. Nothing in this quarterfinal of the Lotto Challenge. Mackay fumbles. Keane is there. And an opportunity for the Steelers. Morrissey.
All inside the 5 metres then, St George. The referee spoke to them. I think you've just got to blow the whistle.
Now the Steelers lose it on the first.
And instead of having a penalty some 10 metres out from the opposition line, they're in defence.
There's another lost ball. Goulet can't believe that the Saints could have let it go again. But they have, after they looked as though they recovered on the first tackle.
And fortunate too.
Simon. He started and finished the first try. Didn't seem as though it went in at all. Rodwell. Keane.
They're inside the 5 again.
The scrums favour the Steelers 7-3. Wishart. Wishart nearly getting through. Tremendous acceleration of his. Tietzel. And Morrissey continues on and gets it out to McIndoe, but it's forward. Well, St George, I don't know what they were thinking here, but they were allowing everyone to very casually unload.
Tietzel got away a miracle ball. Have a look at this on the Lotto replay.
Well,
in fact, it was Morrissey, and he got the ball onto McIndoe, and it was a touch-and-go pass.
A great finisher, and he just loves chances like that. But it's back for the scrum, and St George breathe a sigh of relief. Alshan now 12 metres out from his own line. Criddle. On hands and knees trying to climb out of the 22. Collins. Very strong defence from both sides. Alshan. Down for Riolo. Doesn't quite have the kicking game of David New.
This 5 metres on both sides in defence is starting to worry me.
Wishart. He was strong early. You're saying that Armour has to take another hand?
He might be as tired as the players.
Russell. It's a warm one here at Tamworth. These sides so superbly fit this stage of the season. Jones. Pass was nearly forward from the play of the ball. 6-4 to the Steelers. 6 minutes remaining in this second quarter. That ball was trapped. Plucked out of mid-air by Cameron Wade. Coyne. Ducked under McIndoe. He comes back to assist Fritz. Osborne. Fresh man out there for St George. A player that can really unload on the fringe of the ruck. New looking infield for support, but the defence had kept its line. Russell made the tackle. He's another that can try and find some holes in a defence. Criddle loses it. That's 3 times in the last couple of minutes that the Saints have coughed it up in their own territory. Someone's going to have to make them pay. Piccinelli bumped Fullett and Smith out of the road. There were defenders hanging on Simon. He did well not to pass to him. Morrissey for Russell. Inside the last 5 minutes.
And Russell is a man who can use the ball. He's a man who can create something and can put a support player into a hole. Well, this is overdue.
Neil Armand has finally made St George realise that they've got to stay back outside that 5 metres. It's just on the 22. And Wishart. The 2 number 2s doing all the kicking. We have this one from only about 5 or 6 metres to the side of the posts. His first kick was from right next to the woodwork to complete the try from Simon. Terrific crowd here at Tamworth. One of the real strongholds of rugby league. There's the sun. So it's peeking through those clouds again. He doesn't meet this one quite as well as he did earlier. He's hooked it around, and Ilawarra still only have that 2-point lead. Mackay with a restart from the 22.
Wayne, Illawarra is a club that over the last few years has struggled really since it came into the competition, but there looks to be more of a maturity about their approach to the game now. They seem to be more mentally attuned.
Yeah, that they're playing well tonight. They're playing with confidence, and that's surprising when you look at the number of young players in the side. They've got, believe it or not, 11 local juniors in their squad tonight, and that's a tribute to the depth in the area.
That's exactly, I guess, what they're looking for the draft situation to eventually take hold with. And the Steelers, by showing so much faith in their young men. Congratulations to their administrators. What a fabulous final it was in this knockout competition when it was the Broncos and the Steelers at Parramatta Stadium. Last tackle, Russell, a dummy half. Simon, short ball for Fritz. Trying to kick in behind Walford, but he's forced the knock on. And with about 2 minutes remaining, they will get another throw of the dice, the Steelers, to do just what they did at the end of the first quarter. Lay on a try.
That wasn't the result the Steelers were looking for. They were just looking to pop the ball in behind the line and have a chase on it, but when Walford played at them, it gave them the second chance.
A bonus for them. Smith trying to get to his feet quickly. He knows time's running out. Rodwell, Riolo. Riolo, a short ball for Fritz to charge onto, but he was taken well by Wade.
When it's hot, the inside pass is something that can work as defences start not to cover for one another. Russell is a good inside passer.
Morrissey, 12 metres out. Jones. Piccinelli fumbles. So does Beattie. But the first knock on against the Steelers. And St George should get possession. Just trying to push it.
Running slightly across field here, the Ilawarra attack, and they're always running off the ball. I think he might have just taken his eye off it at the last minute too.
Alshan. Taken by Simon. Peter Gill is out there for St George. Walford. No opportunities for him. 60 seconds remaining before half-time. Osborne. Collins for New. A terrific kicking game of his once more. Is it going to have the legs? You bet it is. It ends up right on the line. And he's weighted this one brilliantly to get St George out of trouble.
A good kicking game is so hard to stop. You couldn't hope to expect to get that far in, say, 6 could play the balls, but a 60-metre gain there by New simply by putting his foot to it.
His value, or he has been very valuable for the Saints in these first 2 quarters. And this quarter-final really showing us what Cup sudden death football is all about.
Every time McIndoe brings the ball up, the St George players are looking to rip it out. He carries the ball in the right hand exclusively.
Jones. He had his back turned. Luckily, he will get away with this mistake. There is not enough time for St George to put the scrum down. But they've got a lot closer in this second quarter. At halftime, the Steelers will go to the dressing rooms with a lead of 6 points to 4. Ilawarra leading by the 2 over St George as we start this third quarter. Wishart with the restart for the Steelers. And we don't have to worry about talking about any breeze advantage here in Tamworth this afternoon. There is none about. But it's a tough quarter-final of the Lotto Challenge. Goulet. Taken by Morrissey. Collins out of dummy half. Mackay. The score is very close, but some interesting statistics to come out of this. Ilawarra 105 first half tackles, Piccinelli with 18, St George 118, and Goulet himself with 18 tackles. Riolo 10 metres out from the Steelers line. McIndoe on a break. Cameron Wade did well to cover. Jones wrapped up by Osborne. Walsh. The Steelers skipper will play it back as Russell.
I can remember going back, it must be 4 or 5 years now. Remember, he suffered that serious neck injury and at one stage may never have played again.
What great value he's been to the Steelers as Callaway finds touch.
And what great value these kickers have been today for their respective sides, both St George and Ilawarra. The forwards will be eternally grateful that they haven't had to ruck the ball to 60 metres.
Alshan. All seemed to be stuck in there for a second. New, and that important stat that I said, 42 tackles in the opposition half in the first and second quarters for the Steelers, only 19 for the Saints.
And St George burnt up 12 of those in the opening minutes.
Osborne. Gill. Wayne, what was the half-time report?
Well, Graham Murray was concerned about the St George kicking game. He felt that there was no pressure applied to David New at all, and he wants the dummy half, the markers, to put pressure on him in this game. Bit of pressure there. But Brian Smith felt that St George needed to up the tempo of the match. He felt Illawarra were just coasting along. He wants his players to play the ball quickly and dart from dummy half more often.
No doubt, Bill, that that's going to happen the longer this one goes on. Big blindside to switch to, and they decide to do that. Riolo. He beat the tackle with Potter, but Alshan and Gill came across from the scrum. Piccinelli. 3 defenders on him, and very quickly. Jones. Callaway switches for Simon on the blind. This time it's Russell on the open, trying to show it and keep the ball alive, but he can't. Last tackle. Simon just kicking it through a second time after Osborne had tried to trap it. And it's covered up by Walford.
And here comes that dummy half running that Brian Smith was talking about, as Wayne mentioned.
15 kicks in play to the Saints, 13 to the Steelers, and most of them have been very effective from both sides. Spring.
Illawarra had success with a chip over the top, and St George might pay in kind because there's no sweeper back for Illawarra at all.
This kick from New was just away from Riolo. And New does perfectly to chase his own kick.
That's good play. It wasn't a great kick. It was just a kick that he dropped onto the foot and put about 40 metres downfield, but he chased it himself, and he chased it well, and he got the maximum value out of it.
Piccinelli. The Steelers were given great service 2 years ago by 2 great stars from Wigan, Andy Gregory and Steve Hampson, and I think this club learned a lot from those guys. Great Britain internationals who have helped mature this football club. This time from the kick, the scrum will go down just outside the 22.
The kicking games continue, and there's not much that anyone can do, and nor are they too interested in stopping it.
5 minutes gone in this third quarter. It's 6-4.
I think on a pretty warm day, the wingers and the fullbacks just put stopping those kicks in the too hard basket and say we'll go to a scrum.
Alshan for Potter. Potter steps nicely. Mackay, but he's running without any support. Gill trying to make that advantage line, but certainly would like to see the Saints run with some support in the forwards. Collins.
They were in trouble all the way against Parramatta, Graham. I don't think they led at any stage until about 2 minutes to go.
Osborne back for New, and Beattie now to continue on. He beat Rodwell well. Very strong cover defending tackle from Simon. Play on for Beattie. Mackay puts up the bomb for McIndoe. He hangs on, and Neil Armand rules that the outside St George men were in front of the kicker. I wasn't so sure they were.
Lotto replay might help us here. We've just come in a little bit late, and McIndoe took the ball safely, but the players were firstly in front of the kicker, and if they weren't, they were still inside the 10.
And I think a lot of people, Bill, still trying to get used to that new international rule that came in on the Kangaroo Tour, that kicks downtown, you've got to be 10 metres away from the man who fields it. That is, if you're in front of the kicker. Morrissey. The shadows creeping across this ground here from the West Tamworth Leagues Club.
Wayne, I'm just starting to get the feeling that Ilawarra are persisting in the speed of their play the balls more than St George are. Does it look like that to you from down there?
Yeah, they seem to be a little bit more enthusiastic at this stage, and quick play the balls or any sort of urgency is a good indicator of enthusiasm, and enthusiasm wins football games, so St George have got to watch out.
I think Canterbury showed that against Manly. In Lismore now, the enthusiasm from Wishart nearly got him through. Russell was trying to dummy his way through. Simon. Smith finds a short hole for Simon to step. He beat Alshan off the left foot, and John Simon, a young man going places for the Steelers, goes right under the black dot. Good support play on the inside. Just take a look at the footwork.
Lotto replay is going to show it, Graham. This fellow's got class in everything that he does. He offloaded the ball through a good pass there to Smith. Now Smith took the defensive line on. Once again, it was Simon's backing up that brought him this 4 points. Well played.
Smith here showed just how important good footwork is. He wrong-footed Peter Gill. We have a look at this tape here. Wrong-footed Peter Gill, threw the shoulder into him. Good support play once again from John Simon. He's everywhere today, and a great try to him.
John Simon, the Steelers halfback, gets 2 tries in this most important clash here at Tamworth, the first, or the quarter-final of the Lotto Challenge. 1 from 2 for Wishart, but this one right in front. And the Steelers now with a good break. They lead St George 12 points to 4. Riolo. Straight to Potter.
I spoke to Brian Smith about Johnny Simon going back a couple of weeks, Graham, and he said, I think he's a 5'8", but he can play halfback pretty well too, and he's not wrong, is he?
And Brian Smith would be ruining the fact that he's having a good one against St George. Alshan. Osborne was tackled without it.
There's something in the back play there, and the touch judge is coming on.
Walsh made the tackle on Osborne.
Yeah, the clash of the 2 front rowers, Graham. But one without the ball, the other one without the ball, and makes the tackle on him anyhow.
I don't think there was a lot to it. Walsh seemed to be pulling back from it in the finish. And Osborne was fairly quickly to his feet to have something to say.
I suppose if you're a front rower and you've run all that way to make a tackle, you might as well finish it on a hot day.
Mackay. He gets the Saints to halfway.
They've got to try something here, St George. They're not breaking this strong Illawarra defence. They've got to do something different, whether it's the chip over the top or it's some special play, some variation, but they're going to have to do something.
That's much better support play in the forwards. Instead of just one out and easy pickings, something to give the defence a little to think about. We've seen the long kicking game from New. Osborne to New now. I just wonder if he can line up a little chip and chase for his outside backs. Mackay, or even men like Mackay from the lock forward role. Collins, a much quicker play of the ball, and that catches the defence going backwards. And it's another penalty against Chris Walsh. He hadn't got back the 5 quickly enough. It was quick play of the balls from the Steelers that was giving them a little bit of a roll on in their play. And now St George will take this kick at goal through Walford. That's the angle for him back on the 22, about 10 or 12 to the side of the post. 100% for Walford. Beautiful afternoon in Tamworth, and a big crowd who are witnessing a pretty tight one, even though it's been 2 tries to the Steelers. A lot of football left in this quarter-final. And Walford to try and put them within a converted try. And he does just that. He keeps that record perfect. And St George now 6 away from the Steelers in the 3rd quarter with 6 minutes left. Walford quickly back into position as the Steelers come back to halfway. And as we look at it, Bill, in those shadows, it'd be nice to be playing on the left wing for the Steelers, or the right wing for St George.
Yes, I don't think the left wing, and the men that are over guarding that area are Michael Booty and Ricky Walford, and I'd say there's a pretty good chance this is going in their direction. Well, he put through the low kick. I think I'd have been inclined to belt one up in the air and make them put the hands to the eyes and find it.
Yeah, that sun should be made to work for them. Goulet. Collins.
One man who is carrying out the coach's instructions. Almost every time he gets the dummy half, he's working out of there.
And Mackay trying to make sure that they have quick play of the balls. Alston. Brittle. 42 out from their own line. New. He can't get his kick in. Here's an opportunity. Callaway has Fritz outside. Walford's chasing. Walford had gone downfield for the kick. He did well to get back there. He rushed back when he saw that New was in trouble. Now, Walford nearly gave away a penalty. Armand looks to have played an advantage here for the Steelers. An advantage also about being inside the 5. He could have got Walford in the play of the ball, but now, even more importantly for both sides, this kick will be right in front of the post.
Pretty good refereeing, wasn't it? He knew that St George was struggling to get back and that Illawarra had a line. He played an advantage, and when Illawarra stretched the ball, the penalty came. St George players just couldn't get back the required 5 metres.
Two from 3 for Wishart. He won't get an easier one than this all season long. Very important kick too. Very valuable. The Steelers now 14, St George 6. They left it to the last quarter in round 1 against Parramatta. It looks like it's going to be an all-important 4th and final one as well here at Tamworth. New down for Simon. Off to Russell. Beat Goulet and got to the 22. Keane. Jones. 3 minutes left in this 3rd quarter. Walsh showing the way as the captain should.